Why were the French skeptical of us Marines at Belleau Wood? Imagine standing in the midst of a brutal battlefield, where the outcome hinges on trust and cooperation between Allied forces. The Battle of Belleau Wood during the First World War was a pivotal moment that tested the bonds between American and French troops. But why did the French initially harbor doubts about the United States Marines who arrived to reinforce their lines? To understand this skepticism, it is important to consider the context of the time. The United States had entered the war relatively late, in April of the year 1917. American forces, especially the Marine Corps, were still developing their combat experience and reputation. Many French soldiers and officers viewed the newcomers with a mixture of curiosity and caution. They had fought alongside other allies for years, and had established a certain level of trust based on shared hardships and proven combat effectiveness. The American Marines were known for their fierce fighting spirit and discipline, but they also carried a reputation for being somewhat inexperienced in large-scale European warfare. Their training was rigorous, yet they had not yet participated in the kind of prolonged trench warfare that characterized the Western Front. This led some French soldiers to question whether the Americans could hold their own against the well-entrenched German forces. Furthermore, cultural differences contributed to the initial wariness. The French military had a long history of professional soldiers and a tradition of strategic planning, while the American approach was often seen as more aggressive and less refined. Some French officers doubted whether the Americans understood the complexities of trench warfare and whether they could adapt quickly enough to the brutal realities of the battlefield. Despite these initial doubts, the American Marines proved their mettle during the fighting at Belleau Wood. Their relentless assault and refusal to retreat earned respect from their French allies. The battle became a turning point, demonstrating that the United States was capable of contributing significantly to the Allied war effort. Over time, the French skepticism transformed into admiration, cementing the reputation of the American Marines as fierce and dependable fighters. In the end, the initial doubts of the French were rooted in unfamiliarity and cautious assessment, but the courage and tenacity of the American Marines ultimately dispelled those concerns, forging a lasting bond between the two Allied nations.